So imagine this. You wake up one day and you're in a prison cell. It's tight, it's confined, and you feel like the walls are closing in on you. You probably think this would be a living hell. Now imagine if you were trapped here day after day after day. Well, why I ask you this question and why I tell you to imagine this is because it can't be too far off from what you're experiencing now. No, you don't see a physical cell closing in on you. You don't see walls that you feel confined within, but you are. And you might not even notice it, but you feel like something is off. Maybe you do notice it and you know something is off. You're uncomfortable, you're restless, you feel isolated, alone, depressed. See, I stood here. I stood here for far too long. I was encaged in my own living hell, my own believed inner world. And for so long, I didn't even know it was an illusion. I didn't know it was a mental activity, thoughts, stories, insecurities. I thought it was reality. This is why it's so subtle. For many of you, you might feel it. It might be loud, the elephant in the room, something you can't miss. It stands out. You feel it in the body like I did. But for many of you, you might just call it you, the person you are, the victim that you play, the role that you play. And you might not even know what is going on, but you might just say you hate life, feel like you are that victim of the circumstances. I want to shed light on this today, no matter where you stand. And for those of you who don't see it, who don't feel it, who it doesn't stand out to very aggressively or loud, but you might feel that little urge, that little nudge that something is off, and maybe you don't. This is going to be hard to register with you. So I encourage you to open your heart and open your mind, even though the mind isn't needed for this, but because you're going to feel resistance to this. And for those of you who want hope, the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm here to tell you and show you that that light isn't outside of you by any means at all. See, we are so taught to believe that we are a victim to our circumstances. And while what arises may seem difficult, it may be traumatic, and it may be hard, it may bring emotional pain, suffering, it's part of the human experience. But the more you resist, it persists. The more you give life to it, the more it manifests. See, this is manifestation itself. The inner state, like a mirror reflecting an outer reality. But I'm here to tell you that this is all occurring and created in the ground of reality, on the ground of reality. And this ground of reality is not something different than you. It isn't outside of you by any means at all. You just have been missing it. This saved my life. Now, I know that I'm saying it saved my life, like there's a separate self who owns a life that needs to be saved. But for the point of this video, bear with me. I just want to shine the light of awareness on what I'm talking about. Anxiety, fear, isolation, depression, interpretation, the filter of mind that guides us, makes us believe we are us, the sense of self, the illusion, the show that we are living and believing that we are fully this character. This is the prison cell. Now, I said, imagine that you're waking up in a cell that is going to suffocate you. It's going to squish you. It's been confining you. You're caged in. And truthfully, it is a living hell. But it's not too far off from what you most likely are living. It's an epidemic of sorts: depression, anxiety, fear, suicides. It's happening all the time. We lose ourselves to this believed reality that we are living, the perceived reality, the thoughts, the insecurities, the stories. Now we're missing the vibrance of reality, of life that we are. I'm not saying that there's two realities. There's one true ground of reality that I'm pointing you to, the essence of God. Consciousness or awareness. You can call it a million different things. The terms have absolutely hold no weight to what the truth is of what you're experiencing, and not your experience, but what is being experienced. And this is where the believed inner world and perceived reality is created. And this is where we lose ourselves to hell. This becomes hell. This becomes ignorance. We don't know our true nature. And many of you, when you hear this message, you resist. You feel an uncomfortableness. You want to push. You want to pull. You want to say, no way, no how. Because this prison cell, this cage, this box is what you have been living in as you, as life. So it's uncomfortable and it bumps against the edges of the cage, the edges of the box, what you've been enclosed in so long. And once again, you call you. That's why it seems so real. It seems like life itself. I know the feeling. It's so real. You get so entangled in it, so immersed that not only is it you and not only is it life, you feel totally encapsulated, totally suffocated, drowning in this cloud, in this blurriness, in this fog. And you say, there's no way to slow down. You cannot find the ground because the mind is racing. Stories are interpreting everything. I know this feeling. That's why I speak with it with so much passion. But yet, have you ever noticed where you are? But yet, have you ever noticed what is here? I call it the inner world because it seems like it. It seems like there's a voice in your head who narrates, who guides, who describes, who critiques, who talks, and it seems like your voice. So it seems like you own it. Nobody else knows this inner world. But that's the illusion. That's the perceived reality being created based on the sense of self, based on the idea of memory, based on thought, stories, experiences, interpretation, wrapped into a bundle. This is why people take their lives. Not all the time, but often. Because this is what they truly believe is the life they are living. They never notice this. They never notice now. They never notice where it is arising, where thoughts arise. Who notices thoughts? What notices thoughts? What notices sensations? I know it sounds plain, it sounds ordinary, but it disarms the system. It truly shines the light on this box, on this cell that you've been living in, and it crumbles. Not because it was ever real, but because the light of awareness shines through the illusion and dissolves it without any type of force, without anyone doing it. Because it brings you back to the truth of you, the truth of one, the truth of now. This broke my cage. Not only did this break my cage, it dissolved the sense of me. Now, a lot of you say that's nihilism. Well, what the hell's the point of life? Why do any of this? Well, do you want to continue to be a hamster running on a wheel, living in the imaginary world of stories? That's where you've been living. That's what you consider life. That isn't life. There is a useful function to the individual in all of this. There is a useful function to the body. There is a useful function to everything. But when that useful function becomes the truth to you, this is where you are at the mercy of that useful function. And that useful function even arises now, in here only. You can't ignore what truly is. And that is what we do far too often. When I share messages like this, sometimes I get comments of anger, of frustration. All I'm pointing to is what is here now. And it's not something that Alex comes up with or that I created. I'm just pointing to it. Presence is the invitation to dissolve your belief inner world. And if you don't know or see the inner world, the light of awareness now will help show you the activity of mind, the stories that are arising. And this sets you free because you see that it was never truly yours. This isn't your weight to carry. This isn't your cage to break. You are the essence of God now, and you've simply forgotten. So the point of this video is I want to tell you that whether you notice or you do not notice the stories, the thoughts, the insecurities, the fear, the isolation, depression, it isn't you. It isn't yours. You have simply forgotten what is here now. Sit with presence. You don't have to find presence. You don't have to fake it. It's here now. You might think it is you being in the moment, but it's not even truly you being in the moment. This isn't your moment. This is just this. Terms and language will never truly encapsulate this truth. I'm doing my best to point. So many of us have seemed to grab the thoughts, material items, the status, the job, the profession, the body, the me, the I, the theirs, the ours, mine. But have you noticed this? Have you noticed this? This thread that ties all of humanity and everything together. The whole experience of the 3D is only now here within nothingness, seeming to be everything. So I truly hope this video was able to help you in some way. I know what it feels like to be buried, to be suffocating, to be drowning in thoughts and in fear and anxiety. It's uncomfortable. And all you want to do is continue to repeat the cycle of trying to fix that someone to get out of it, to find a way home. But all it does is breathe life into it, manifests deeper, gives it strength. You have to see that it was never yours. You have to see that you don't own it. There's not somebody to fix it, and there's nowhere to go. Now is home, and right now in this moment, this exact second, I say moment, it sounds like time. That's why language will never do justice. But what I'm pointing to is here. It isn't faked. It isn't created. It isn't something you turn on and off. You've just simply gotten attached to the content of now. Within awareness. Remember what you are, and that cage breaks. That living hell seems to all of a sudden turn to heaven within you now only. Guys, if you haven't heard, the Core Collective community is now free for you to join. This is what we talk about, what we discuss in there, and what we explore. And now you can get inside for free if you would like. That link is down below. And there's so much more. I like to say that meditations help with this a little bit. It truly does. Not as someone doing a practice, but meditation itself, which can happen anywhere at any time. And I have a collection of meditations inside of the Core Collective. And in the live sessions, whether working one-on-one or in the group sessions, I bring you back to presence. I bring you back to now by seeing that it is always here. And this can dissolve that cage. It can dissolve the illusion of you suffocating and being a victim to the circumstances that you have been suffering for so long. It can shine the light through that mental activity, that insecurity, and that fear, bringing yourself back to presence. And in the Core Collective, you have variations in many different ways to explore this. Join us today. Take care, friends.